In the early days, the focus was on what could we do to better advance renewables in our community. We're a regional community on the south coast of New South Wales, and we thought we could put solar on community buildings. We started to apply for grants in about 2018. It took us a bit of time to get the confidence, but we thought there's a lot of really important community organisations delivering really important services like marine rescue, men's sheds, the CWA, the churches. The thing that's been really hard for community organisations is covering their energy costs. So we approached community organisations and said, we will hold your hand through the process from preparing the grant application to implementing the works and then doing all the reporting. We have now installed solar and or batteries on 20 community facilities across the Eurobodalla, and that has significantly cut their costs. One of SHASA's strengths is that we review our strategic plan annually. We look at what is happening in our community and we change and evolve to meet those greatest needs. When the big bushfires occurred, it became very clear there were no places for the more vulnerable to get out of the elements. We had a lot more people die from the impact of the wood smoke and the heat than the actual fires. So we evolved our solar program, solar and batteries, to then be solar, batteries, backup generators, air conditioning, HEPA filters. It's enabled these community facilities to be more extensively utilised by the community. We are keeping these organisations viable. Well, it was the scale and the enormousness of the Black Summer bushfires. 80% of our Shire burnt. We lost over 500 houses. We were under threat from the fires for 3 months. We had evacuation centres that had no power, no lighting, 3,000 people crowded into, these were basketball halls, and our hospitals became overwhelmed. They couldn't cope. The power went out. Their backup generators were not strong enough to run all the equipment. And this is why a lot of people died not directly from the fires, but as a consequence of all those things. So we met after that, and in the months that followed, we thought, what can we do? We need to be better prepared for next time. We thought, we're already putting solar on buildings. Maybe we can do more to make them even more resilient. We came up with the idea of havens, and it was a combination of that plus the bushfire money being available. And we thought, we've got to seize this opportunity because some of the buildings cost a lot to upgrade. So we have a heatwave and bushfire smoke haven strategy where we worked across the Eurobodalla to find community organisations that would want to participate. We've got about 15 facilities that we hope to get upgraded. When funding does come up, we're ready to act. We just have to get a few updated quotes. It's made the whole process of grant requests a lot easier. I've been in the leadership role for 5 years. When I became president, it was because the person who was president resigned and the organisation was actually in debt and nobody wanted to take it on. It was very much in a crisis mode. Over time, as we came out of that, what I have done is to make sure I get enough leadership training, mentoring, to adapt my leadership style to what the organisation needs. A lot more gets delegated. I spend more time facilitating, organising and supporting. We now have about 35 active volunteers. It's around learning to trust and learning to accept that even though the first, second or third time a new person does something, it won't be as good as how I could do it in my own mind. It's important that they go through that process and learn because it makes the organisation more resilient. All our documents used to be on my desktop. If something happened to me, that was it. Now it's all on Google Docs and all of the key people have access. We've got that operational resilience. And I can't stress enough to all of the community organisations. Leadership is critical, but the leadership has to facilitate engagement and action by others. We've realised you've got to spend probably half of your energy on the people side of things. Because if you invest in your people and your people feel really supported, encouraged, part of something, they're much more likely to stay. You might have to slow down your projects while you invest, but it's almost like you've got to invest to save your sanity. A lot of people put enormous amount of time and effort into this. And what they need is not only the satisfaction of getting a project done, making a difference, they need to have fun and they need to have social experience as well. And this is why in SHASA, we spend a bit more time celebrating. A little social gathering can make a world of difference. It enables people to get to know each other, not just as advocates for community energy, but as people. The climate emergency has been urgent since I was 10. Right? It's always going to be urgent, but you've got to take time to do the nurturing. If we get too task focused, you will lose people because they'll be going, I'm not getting my little kind of warm, fuzzy feeling out of this. So you need to integrate it into your activities.